Hey everybody, happy Friday. This is Trish, CEO and founder of Healerverse. As many of you know, on Fridays we do the Healerverse Roundtable. And right now it must be a Friday because my dog is playing with his toy in the background. So what is beautiful about Healerverse is that we have real people supported by the platform and technology. So that way you can learn from the different Healerverse practitioners, what's out there and who you might want to work with. And Friday is such a celebration because we get to feature one of the practitioners and they could tell you a little bit about what they do. And it's a really good learning experience for me and everybody else. And also, we come together. The mission of Healerverse is to elevate global collective consciousness. And if you found us by accident or on purpose with intention, we're so happy you did. Come visit us at 5dhealerverse.com. Today we have a most incredible Healerverse practitioner that has been on the roundtable on Fridays almost every single week since I met her. And I'm so excited to hear from her today because she's been so supportive of the mission and she's wonderful. She lives here in Pompano, Florida, so you can meet her in real life and message Diane at 5dhealerverse.com. You check out her profile, and I am so excited, without further ado, to introduce you to Diane.
Hello, Trish, and hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here and really talk about what I finally, after a lifetime of study and working and putting forth all my efforts on the daily basis to figure out not only how to help others, because I come from a place of service from others, because I learned that from my parents. I was extremely blessed to be the youngest child of Edie and Bob Mazer. And I can say I'm extremely blessed for that, but I also got, I would say, the best of both of my parents as well as the worst. I was born with three, I would say, things that were not discovered or really understood as I was a child. So I was misdiagnosed my entire life, and really a square peg in a round hole, or a round hole in a square peg, whatever you want to call it. I have dyslexia, which is definitely a gift. And once you understand what it is in your brain, that makes you think out of the box rather than how most people are born in a world. You just kind of feel a little bit different. But I also suffer from a autoimmune and an auto-inflammatory disease that is a direct line from my father's bloodline. I was the only one to have this, so it really caused me to be extremely disruptive, and it caused me to have more surgeries than I actually would ever wish on anyone, even someone that maybe did me not so nice. I learned very young what it was to be a compassionate human in this world of, shall I say, ups and downs that we all go through. We all have traumas. We all have things that we need to get past. I happen to have what I call a DNA code that was made specifically to force me to find alternate solutions, because modern medical science was never going to help me. And I've been what I would call a test guinea pig in the scientific world of medical doctors. I was blessed to have an oldest brother who is so well educated through Harvard and MIT as a PhD and an MD that he is on Who's Who for some of the discoveries he made. But being his baby sister, he always found me these specialists that were doing experimental cures or attempts at curing something that is not curable by MDs, by pharmaceuticals, by surgeries. It was just blanketing what was wrong with me. So fortunately, I left home and ran away. I think since birth, it kind of explains. I came out of the womb 2 months early and blew and wasn't supposed to survive. But I did. And I'm thankful for that, especially in this day and age where we are able to use alternate forms of healing. And I dreamt a dream, I would say, since years and years and years ago, and just didn't give up on that dream. And through that period of time, I would stop life because of surgeries. I am thankful beyond words, not just for people like Trish Kane that also are, shall I say, an alternate way of helping people feel good. Because all of us want the same things in life. We want to feel peace within. We want to feel that we are calm on the daily in what most would say we're living in a very turmoil world right now. And being as the surgeries from my hidradenitis suppurativa caused most medical doctors to want me to be on disability and just on morphine or Dilaudid, and that was how they wanted to treat my disorders. I thankfully have done yoga since I'm 14 when I wasn't living at home. I was bounced around from all sorts of, because I acted out. I'm so grateful that I do not have an addictive personality. Because when I didn't, after a surgery, when I didn't need to be on a pain pill, I just threw them away and had about 3 days of horror show, physical activity, and central nervous system disorders until the withdrawal went away. And then I would be productive again with whatever I was doing. I'm pretty accomplished in many different things. Because I don't ever give up, because I'm my daddy's and mother's daughter, and they always said, you can only really be a better person today than you were yesterday. You can only make a choice. All we really are in control of, in my opinion, is our choices in life and our reactions to what is brought to us. And everybody is the same that way. Whether we whatever we do in life as a living, we're all just trying to do our best. And my best, being from a very competitive family, was, I would say, not really the same as everyone else. Like everybody else is an Ivy League graduate, or they stayed with one specific thing. That isn't who I am. I've always been very comfortable with who I was as a human being. And everybody should find something that brings them joy, whether it's in their work world, whether it is in a little thing, whether enjoying something very simple. I like simple things that are very easy to explain. I do a lot of different things, but each one of them can be taught. And everything I do, someone can learn how to do it. I'm not unique in that. I am unique in the way that I do get visions before they actually are taking place. So I don't see it clearly, and I often bite off more than maybe I can chew. But now, having continued to better myself, re-educate myself, and then share it with anybody that will listen, I will continue to do that. I would say my dreams have affected me in unusual ways because I will see something in a dream and then create it in a manifestation sort of way. And it's because I needed to heal myself. So I'm thankful to have a best girlfriend of over 25 years who's a third generation acupuncturist, herbologist, shiatsu master from Taiwan, who it did do alternative treatments on me when the doctors were telling me, let's cut out this organ and let's do more surgeries. Oh, you're back? Well, we need to do injections, and we need to do all sorts of different things that made no sense to me. And thank God the universe brought me Dr. Yen King Lin, who we work together sometimes now. She'll do an assessment with somebody and treat them through homeopathic medicine. I do because I'm now certified not just for humans, but for animals. Animals have always spoken to me. I think a lot of people, they do. If you have a dog or you have a cat or you have a horse, you could even have fish, and you can feel calm from them. They absorb and they teach us yoga. Every single yoga move that humans try and make their own were given to us by animals, and we're animals too. I certainly have animal behavior like everyone else. I try to not be reactive, but sometimes that can be challenging. And one of my diseases, Ehlers-Danlos, which kind of fits into a category of many different things that medical science can't really put their finger on. And even medical doctors, practitioners, once you are diagnosed with this, which didn't happen to me even for a few years ago. So how can you really know who you are if you don't know what's wrong with you? So that's why I am thankful that I come kind of from a grassroots music family, because music heals you on a cellular level and makes you feel good, even when you don't feel good. Socrates actually is who in 300 BC, the philosopher, and brought to our world what I would call a vibrational healing on a cellular level. So for all of the treatments that I went through, had I known this sooner, it might have helped me, but I didn't know what was wrong with me. And so I couldn't fix it. And neither could a medical practitioner. So now that I do know what's wrong with me and I'm able to, shall I say, I don't think I can ever be completely cured with having two diseases. My dyslexia, I'm fine with. That makes me have I should say, edge on understanding humans and feeling things that maybe words aren't spoken. And many things in life aren't spoken. People are very interesting to me. Their brains are very interesting. Their souls, I think, are very interesting. After all, our cellular level, we're only energy and water trapped in a cell. And then all of those cells are trapped in our skin. So we're really just energy, completely. And that's why when the phone rings, if you think about someone, I think most people have had this happen to them. I know I have. But if you think about a person that you care about, that you haven't maybe spoken to, and the phone rings and it's them, that's energy vibrating, just like a tree in the ground with its roots into Mother Earth can talk to other trees and warn them if there's a storm coming. Warn them if something dangerous is happening. Well, our cellular level does that to all of us. It's why even a dog will bark suddenly for no reason. Because they're alerted by some kind of energy and they want to alert their people. And so they kind of have always, I should say, frogs, a fish, every kind of animal is going, if you listen, they're going to tell you exactly what's going on in your environment around you. And one of the things that I feel very blessed that I did the study and got accredited so that I can help others, whether it's internationally certified and insured and registered, to be able to help people not only ease their vibration level if they're feeling nervous, if something happens in life, like it does to everyone, that is of discomfort and can cause you to stop forward motion in your life, not from anything that you've done, but something that it affects your central nervous system disorder. And meditation and breath work. There are certain habits. I learned breath work when I was living in a girls' group home at 16 because I wanted to not go to school since I read differently than most people. Being dyslexic, I didn't learn the same way that others. So nature was my savior, and people that taught me breath work. And I always have been able to, in my dreams, have what they call leave my body, an out of body experience. And anybody can do that. It's just opening up what they call the third eye, your mind's eye. And I am able to not only help people just by talking to them calmly and guiding them through how they should breathe, because breathing is the most important thing to our cellular level. It makes you feel renewed if you breathe all the way in, down into your body, into your stomach, and expand your stomach, and then let go of it completely by contracting your stomach, all the while teaching somebody how to feel what we would call their guidance in spirituality, living now in the fifth dimension, which is space. We're out of the fourth dimension, which was time. So everyone is feeling their cellular level and their guides, and that you can feel whether you're sleeping and they come to you in dream state like they always have for me, which allowed me to see what my purpose was in life. And everyone has a purpose in life. They're all equally important. Whether you work for yourself, which is a crazy thing to do because you never stop working when you do that, or you work as a team for someone else and want to do the best job that you can. Yeah. And I like to do the best job. I come from an extremely competitive, funny family. So we get to I always learned I better laugh at myself and the oddities that life has handed me, and then do the research that it takes to make myself feel good on the daily when I was born with something that caused me not to feel good every day. And I certainly have to be very careful with what I eat, extremely disciplined, because when I eat things that affect either the hidradenitis suppurativa or my Ehlers-Danlos, I have a very difficult time functioning. So I have found resources. I'd have to say my Solfeggio tuning forks are probably the best way to correct me on a cellular level. And it's simply sound vibration. It's science. And there are different hertz of a science, whether you do a breath work first to calm yourself down, and this particular crystal bowl, which is from our minerals of earth, and it's made in such a way that it resonates through your cellular level, and it calms the water and the energy, and it makes it feel as one with nature, with the universe, with your heart, with your soul, with your mind, and it brings you peace. Where in this world that we live in, which is completely crazy for so many people struggle. Trish Kane, I'm forever thankful for, who not only made this platform, she did it during COVID, where everybody was suffering. And that was a very challenging time for everybody in the world. Needs healing now more than ever.
Thank you so much. Let me just interrupt for 1 second. I really just want to commend you, first of all. I didn't know your whole story, and I'm sitting here and I love listening to you today. Like, I'm literally so inspired, and I see how it's so important for you to grow as a platform, to be able to be a coach and an advisor and healer to others, to give back because you have so much wisdom. You have so much wisdom, so much experience, and so much expertise that other people do not have, right? And you are going to help so many people. I know you already have been, and I love watching you on social media and all your adventures.
Well, I did create a fun world. I did
love that.
create
Yeah.
from a lot of trauma healing, because
Yeah.
I've had therapists my whole entire life.
Yeah, but
because
also
I had to.
I love your story of literally just being a free spirit also, and maybe some of this disease is because of the reality around you, and you are creating and paving your own way in order to create a new reality for yourself and for others to follow. And this is me channeling right now. This is not me speaking.
I get that. I channel absolutely anyone I think of.
Yes.
And
And
that's a real gift, because I'm a musician. I play mostly every instrument that there is. I work with some of the finest musicians on the planet. I'm very blessed for that. I can't go anywhere where I don't meet somebody that's incredibly talented that I learned something from, and hopefully they learn from me as well, because that certainly is a blessing. It does add. Vicky Gould is who I got accredited with, and she actually had to heal herself from Lyme's disease, not anything she was born with. And she just wouldn't take the answers from the doctors that told her she'd have to be lying in bed for 23 hours a day and not be able to raise her children. And so I did learn from somebody who really studied what I already was doing, through whether it was craniosacral therapy, when I went to massage school after being a harness horse driver. That's what I moved to Florida for. And that was quite exciting, even though it feels like another lifetime. I keep horses in my life.
can you tell us? Because what I love about Healerverse, and like I didn't even have to ask you. You went right to it, telling us your personal story. I love that because that's one of my questions that I ask on every single roundtable, unless somebody brings it up. But can you tell us where you grew up and
Sure.
that? Thank
I
you.
grew up in Northeast Philadelphia. I was very thankful. My oldest brother, Norman, that I talked about, was a violinist and a saxophone player. So we lived on a little cul-de-sac in a home that had 6 children. My parents were both previously married, had 2 children each, and divorced very young because both marriages were unsuitable. It was very disruptive and not healthy for either one of them or the children. And my mother was very brave to leave an abusive relationship I believe I broke a generational cycle that was in my family. But my brother had the band that in the backyard every Sunday, and everyone came to our house every Sunday from fall till spring. My father was a poker player when he met my mother. He met her, well, he was selling shoes, homemade shoes for his father. His father had a shoe store for children. And my father made special shoes for people with problem feet. My mother had problem feet. And they met at a barber. My mother had called, they were too expensive. So she like hung up on my dad. She didn't know it was him. But at a barber shop, my father walked in and trying to sell the barber who was cutting my mother's children's hair, Norman and Sharon. And my mother was like, your shoes are too expensive. And that's when they went for to the soda shop, and he bought like my mother's kids ice cream, root beer floats, and they had a cup of coffee, and that was the beginning of the end for them, or the beginning of the love relationship. And my
Nationality are your parents?
yeah, what's that?
What nationality are they?
My father is Hungarian, and either Russian or Yugoslavian, but his whole generation was born in the United States.
Amazing.
Um, we are of the Jewish faith, even though I'm spiritual and was indeed brought up in that faith. I think we're all connected and everybody's right, whatever your beliefs. We're all right. As long as you have a higher power, I don't care what anybody believes in. We know that we're not in control of many things, that there's a higher power of the creator, whatever that is to anyone. So my father adopted my mother's children, and it became a cab driver, and then he learned real estate, and he would go and bathe his children on the way home and then come home to my mother and her children and stay there. And then they had my sister Karen and then me. And like I said, we moved to the suburbs. I ran away from home because I didn't fit in with the normal learning style. And like, I think I ran away when I was in kindergarten for 4 days, just during the school hours, and went and sat on the Schuylkill River on a flat rock called Big Rock. And the whole city that I lived in had to come search for me, because my mother got a phone call from kindergarten saying, "Where's Diane?" And
Aw.
Karen, who it was, she didn't really do anything wrong ever. I certainly was the black sheep, no doubt about that.
But you're
Um, but I
just,
just didn't like that teacher, so I refused to get on the bus. And
yeah.
I went and walked about a mile and a half. So I don't know that we moved to the suburbs because of that, because we were in a safe area. It was a cul-de-sac. Um, but I did go and walk about a mile and a half, and then I would show up when the bus came back, because I had my bag lunch. We weren't very, we didn't have much money. My dad had 6 kids to support immediately. And so I learned about hard work. And my dad ended up building Mazer real estate, and we all were slave labor. There's no doubt about that.
That's
Because,
awesome.
yeah,
And
the
it's
grandkids, everyone. I'm a daddy's daughter. My blood type is B positive, just like him. So I do laugh often that regardless of what's going on, I see the positivity that's happening because my blood type's B positive. So even when I'm in a bad way, I will see the silver lining.
that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And
You're welcome.
I can like picture little Diane being like, this world does not serve me. So I'm gonna go like be the visionary, like dreamer that I am.
I am just going to be me.
And go do, yes, and that's so important. And I think a lot of us that winds up like healing and going on to do bigger things like you're doing, a lot of us did not fit in that box that was constructed by society, like that we had to go create our own boxes and to explode the boxes and go create a new. And that's exactly what I've seen, and that I finally get to hear your story from the heart that you've been doing. Thank you for
Well,
doing.
you're welcome. I don't ever mind sharing or being vulnerable because how else could we actually grow? Listen, my mother being a Jewish and actually she was very religious. Her father, who actually helped me learn that it was okay to be different. He saw that I read upside down without making mistakes. He was a history teacher, my mother's father, and a guide for me that I am so thankful for. But my mother, she worked for my father for sure. She always wanted to be an actress, but oh God, you can't do that. And so she studied English, and she was a very good girl, an only child. She couldn't stand to hear fighting, and there we are with 6 kids, which is very loud. And I can actually, because of the family I was raised in, I can listen and talk. And I meet people like that all the time, and we are hysterical together because we sound like a clown show. We talk and listen at the same time. There are many that can do that, whether it is because they were forced to, because if they didn't even get a turn to talk in a big family. So big family members normally are acclimated with that type of ability because of necessity. Now, my mother, who is a very peaceful soul and a very happy soul, she's 93 to be 94 in December. And I thankfully have 2 sisters that weren't like me. I left home very young and made my own way. And I have 2 sisters that are so thoughtful and so caring, and they make sure mom is comfortable every single day. Since my dad died, they were very much in love. But my mother, God bless her soul, she became an ordained minister so that she could go to a hospital and hold a hand from somebody that had no one, not a soul, to be there with them while they were terminally ill. And she would read to them and she would hold their hand till they died. And that is something extraordinary that taught me by example what it means to be human, a human soul on earth, to not ever let somebody feel alone when we often do. People that are not connected, not everybody has a family with love.
You know what I have my mom's dog on my lap right now, and I just like every time I look into a dog's eyes, it actually goes straight to my heart chakra and I call it intimacy with my dog. I say intimacy, intimacy, and I'm like, hey, can we like look each other in the eyes? You know what I mean?
Right.
And literally, and they do. She just did it with me, and we like stared at each other's souls.
Well, you are indeed an animal, as most people are. Most people will hear what they say to your soul.
I felt my heart chakra completely expand. And I want to say something
This
else.
is the heart chakra.
They, I'll get them out of the room then, because my dog, for some reason, it really affects him.
He won't hear it on this
Okay,
way
can
because
I
this is not a sound bowl.
can I say no? The sound bowl is okay. That's what hurts him.
Oh,
Can I say something real quick? I
yes.
bet that you have the superpower of telepathically communicating with
Oh, I
people.
do.
And I bet that you don't even need to say a word and that you and I could even telepathically communicate.
There's no doubt about that, Trish.
You're very,
I have a lot of nicknames that I've been given. Some are really funny and clever, and I love, and some not so much. But the only one that I gave myself, yeah, whatever. I don't care what people say. Uh,
exactly.
uh, I gave myself only one because I like to make fun and I like to tell jokes. Claire, you can just call me Claire, clairvoyant. You know.
That's cool. Well, when you were at my house a couple weeks ago, I realized how sensitive you are. It's hard to tell over Zoom, to be honest with you. And I was very tapped into your energy the whole time, more than anybody here. Very tapped in. Remember, I even busted my ankle and I came outside and sat with you?
Yes, we did.
Because I was very
Yes, we did.
to you,
I
and
had to go out a few times and just let go of all the energy that was in that room of incredible people.
so many powerful people in one room.
So many.
And
And
also
I feel absolutely
everything. I
everything.
noticed that, and I thought that was really great, actually. It's hard to get that over Zoom. It's very hard to get that over Zoom. But when you're in the same room as Diane, you can really, and you could see as you're listening to her today, how powerful she is. But man, get in the room with her and just one-on-one even is so special. So,
Well, it kind of explains the fact that I've had stalkers, men and women, my entire life.
ah,
Some wonderful, some who have really been caring, like that I've once I let somebody in my world because I will, as a healer, you want to heal others.
yes, we have to be mindful not to allow everybody to come through. There's so many ways to get in touch with us these days. In 2020, at the same time that I started building the Healerverse, I actually changed my phone number. And that's about to happen soon. I'm going to get an assistant and they're going to take this phone. Because the thing is that we can't be therapists to everybody.
No,
People have to pay people for that, 100%.
yeah,
You know what I mean? My hourly rate is higher than most people can afford. But that's okay. It's because I have so much stuff that I'm doing. But people could definitely hire Diane. They can hire healers on Healerverse to be their one-on-one go-to sanctuary. There's people that align with different people, and as empathetic and as powerful as you and I are specifically, there's
oh,
the attention is going to be attracted, and we cannot accept that from everybody. We're all
no.
very resourceful, right? In a lot of ways. So a lot of people are going to want that, and that's a blessing.
It
There's
is a blessing. I know. I know how very blessed I
yeah,
am at
people
this time in my life.
resourceful. They can be on their own though, unless they're going to hire somebody like you
Yeah.
to, right? And I say that with love and empathy, but like you go to a therapist, a healer takes you to the next level of that. A spiritual holistic coach takes you to the next level of that. Um, Therapy is great. I am not knocking it, but there's not enough therapists in the world for everybody.
Not good ones.
Yeah. And then and there's not enough supply for the amount of demand. And
That's for sure.
yeah, and then also like you can go deeper with one of the practitioners on Healerverse, like Diane. It doesn't exist anywhere else. You can find your local healer. It may be, but what about growing and evolving 24/7 at Healerverse? Like, I really strongly believe that.
Well, I'm right there on the page with you. I'm what they would call, because there's about 7 different personality types, that people can be or not. And it's very easy for someone like me who not only has intuitive ability, but also very well studied in sales, since I have been read every single book about that, and I've taught people how to read that part in a large room. So I could walk into a room of people and very quickly be able to see which personality type they are. And a gift that was also graced upon me was the ability to learn how to communicate with different types of, whether someone is from a different country. As an American, we can be very sharp, and we're not as, um, shall I say, refined as other countries because they're older and they have been through things that America hasn't. And we are certainly a country that was built on greed, which is, listen, I know how to make money. I will always know how to make money. It's a tool. And that's all it is. And everybody, there should be nobody on earth that goes hungry. A child, I love animals. I'm an animal whisperer. And I don't have any problem with somebody that only likes animals. There was a time that I will very easily say I love animals more than most people. But truth be told, us people are animals as well. So there really is no telling the difference. It's just being very specific who you let hug you. I'll hug any animal.
Oh my God.
A domestic.
Diane,
Now, have I got wild animals that try and come into my home to live sometimes? Yes. That one is so. What's your mom's dog's name?
Lola.
Lola. She's so cute.
He's so cute.
So cute.
Oh my
And they
God.
have like eyes of a seal.
Yeah.
Oh, so amazing. And yeah, animals absorb all of our energy, just like I do, just like you do.
Yes.
And they're here to absorb some of our pain.
I love this.
It doesn't affect them. They ground themselves very different than humans do.
This one likes being around me because I'm like we have the same love language. So love language is
Do
quality.
you have a spiritual animal, a spiritual guide, an animal guide?
I have a lot. I very much connect with animals for different reasons. My like spirit animal in the water is a shark. And actually
Well,
they're
I
very
don't, I understand that.
yeah, they're actually very loyal
They're
and
very loyal.
yeah, they're very loyal and
They
like
don't even like our pH if they accidentally mistake us
yeah,
for a like if you're wearing something shiny. I'm a scuba diver. I do nighttime free dives.
wow.
I have not ever been. I did that with my dad.
And then I
It's the
have a bald
closest you can
eagle.
be into outer space
Yeah.
if you're not on a rocket ship.
I'm a bald eagle, I'm a shark, and for the land animal, I'm trying to remember. Like I did a meditation to tap into this. And sometimes there's like certain communities that will find this offensive because they're like, you're not Native American, but I don't appreciate that. I appreciate people that allow people to be who they want to be. So I'm grateful that I got to mention that on here too. Because at Healerverse, there's no rules and no
Well,
bounds.
if you want a little science behind that,
Yeah.
because I am fascinated with all sorts of science, and that's what I study a lot. Everyone is connected to everyone, and it's proven scientifically. If you have a glass of water like this, scientists will tell you unequivocally that we're drinking the cellular level of Abraham Lincoln's pee. More in this glass of water than in the ocean. So scientifically, we are of everything, whether you're born into it genetically or not, because you drink water, which is, I say water because I'm from
From Philly,
Philadelphia.
I love your accent. I have to integrate this right now. Like seriously, because like thinking about it, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like before we came here, let's say there was lakes and rivers and stuff, and like the water was pure. But like if you think about it, yeah, like everything has we've been here for a while. So like everything, and then I'm like, I remember people over lockdown were drinking urine. And then I saw recently that
Well,
some
they can clean it enough for someone that doesn't have enough fresh water.
yes,
That's
yes.
what they have to do,
I've been
which
drinking
is sad.
for like
And listen, I learned a lot because of the family I'm from. It was a blessing, and I think I picked them. I think I've been many times in the youngest position in that family,
Yeah.
with all of my siblings. It's why our bond, regardless of some of, every family has their crazy inner workings of how they perceive things, but push come to shove, my family has each other's backs, always, always, through thick and thin. Um, it by the way that they behave, not by words. We might fight, we might fight and not agree because we're all so very different and very strong in our opinions and very competitive. But when it comes down to it, I win the genetic DNA code with my family in my generation. Not the grandkids, not the great, because we still have 4 generations in my family. I try to maintain communication with all of them. We're all over the world. I have a huge amount of cousins that I love so much. And that's, I have friends that are family because I left home so long ago. And so did my oldest brother. The two of us, I think, broke some of the generational insanity that would have continued. And because we did that, we are able to help the middle kids too.
Yeah, and also being the youngest, like the baby of the family, like you grew up very differently than your oldest half sibling, right?
Oh, my sisters wanted to kill me when I was born because I was the baby and they wanted to be the center of attention.
Yeah, but also you grew up very differently, having, come from like they really like had nothing when they were growing up, and then your dad started to become very successful. So you had definitely a different
Well, his drive was family, and he not only helped his family, he mentored people. He taught flying as a hobby, so I used to fly with him in rented planes and test piloting. He jumped out of an airplane with me at 81 years old when I said, "Let's go do this."
I love that.
I have the video. It was the worst emotion I ever had losing him. He was my best friend forever. He is the one that gave me 2 diseases, and he was very empathetic to knowing how strong I was. And my oldest brother, Norman, who used to often tell me, "Listen, I have a piece of my ass skin graft under my right arm. So if I'm mad at somebody, I'm like, smell my ass."
Question, because we only have a little bit of time
Oh,
left.
okay.
Couple questions. So, what the heck was I going to ask you? Okay, today, what are some of your daily practices? Like, what are
Every morning when I wake up, I will indeed put my mindset into what I'm grateful for. And it's often just waking up.
Yes.
Because sometimes I do have very challenging times still. But
Mhm.
I don't let it affect my world. I'm still going to be productive regardless of, I might not be as quick but I show up on time where I have to. If I have an appointment, I will use whatever kind of vibration if I need it. Some days I just feel absolutely fantastic. So I don't need to do everything every day. But I make sure when I wake up that my mind is already ready to start being work mode. I made my list the night before of what I have to tackle, who I need to reach out to, and I don't always get it done because if you work for yourself, and I have more than one business, so I have to be able to multitask. I have to be able to keep written down notes. If I don't feel good, I do a sound bowl on that area. I do Tai Chi every day.
Gee.
I can teach that. I continue to make a bigger list of what I need to accomplish to move further forward. Um, and I keep maintain the relationships of people who have not only helped me, but that I can reciprocate and where I can fit into that world. I'm very loyal.
What type of programs do you have, or how can people work with you one-on-one? What do you offer there?
One-on-one is certainly much more expensive than a group class.
Okay,
Group, but I do one-on-ones.
uh-huh.
I certainly am available for that. I'm more geared to be like a event um, person who isn't doing. I can speak in an event because I do have a lot of expertise in many different areas, but people can only absorb a certain amount of information at one time. So what I do can very quickly, in a short period of time, get everybody relaxed, get everybody focused on what they're learning instead of chitter chattering, because people will do that. Something happens, you're gonna forget that you're paying attention because our brains only absorb so much at one time. So what scientifically, what I do changes your cellular level. It adds new cells through your body so you can absorb information at a much quicker rate, a much faster rate, with focus, with calm, without worrying what your family might be dealing with outside of that room that you were committed to going. So even people like JT Fox, who has been my coach, it would be very beneficial for me to do it and do a clearing so that everybody there actually listens to somebody who's the number one coach in the world. Somebody like Bill Walsh, who loves to help others be their best selves. He loves to spotlight. Would it be beneficial for me to go in and do a 10-minute, 15-minute clearing so everybody would focus on everyone that's speaking at one of his events? Yes.
So much. Thank you for reminding me that you do clearings, because that's huge. Like house clearings, clearings of event spaces, clearings of spaces,
Yep,
healing, meditation, all that. You do a lot. Thank you
I
so
do.
much.
I also do
I-
luxury real estate for new construction.
Yeah, well, at least you know that they're getting good vibes with the real estate.
Absolutely.
So much. All right, guys. Well, hit up Diane on 5dhealerverse.com. Her profile is on there. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Trish.
Thank you.
You're welcome.